Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Sunday on our channel where we talk about all things sci-fi, fantasy, and comic book related. And today we're gonna be kind of switching that up just a bit, but not much, because we have to talk about a comic strip horror movie coming out. Popeye the Sailor Man has now gone into public domain, and there is a horror movie coming out of it, so let's jump right into it. Okay, everybody, just when you thought you were safe from all of the public domain horror movies, there is another one coming out in early January of next year. And that is none other than Popeye the Sailor Man, coming in early 2025. To be clear, Popeye doesn't officially go into public domain until January of 2025. But for all intents and purposes, you might as well say that it's in public domain, because you can make a public domain movie of it right now. You just can't officially release it until that day. And the funny thing about this is that it's not going to be a part of the Winnie the Pooh universe, but it is going to be made by the same people. So that is going to be worth looking at. And we have a little bit of information on this movie, so I thought we would share what we know about this movie and kind of give you our opinion. So several places are reporting this. One is Bloody Disgusting, and Bloody Disgusting says, the gory and raunchy Popeye horror movie coming in early 2025. It goes on to remind us that this is the latest public domain character to get a twisted horror movie, and it is with ITN Studios, and they are currently hard at work on their horror movie Popeye, expected to chew spinach and tear apart bodies in early January 2025. It goes on to say that ITN's Popeye is not connected to the twisted childhood universe known as the Poohniverse. Renee August is producing the movie with William Steed directing. It is described as a raunchy and gory slasher. And in this movie, it has the legend of Popeye as he sort of stalks some campers. So they've turned Popeye into essentially this Jason-esque figure. And the movie does look like it's going to be somewhat accurate, at least in how they make him look. Everything else is out the window. Now, here's the thing. If you're not familiar with Popeye, here's what you need to know about the character of Popeye. Popeye was created by E.C. Segar, with the character first appearing in 1929 in a comic strip called The Thimble Theater. The comic strip was already a decade into its run before the character of Popeye became the most popular character in the comic strip, and then became the primary focus. In 1933, Popeye began appearing in animated shorts by Max Fleischer. Now, this is where the character really took off and became the popular character that he was for years and years. Even so much so that if you were a child in the last couple of decades, you know who this character is. And if you don't, you should probably check out some of the cartoons that are available on several streaming services. It is an iconic character with a lot of iconic stuff going on in these comics. It really is a superhero saga at heart. And in 1980, it saw its first live action interpretation appear on screen, with none other than the one and only Robin Williams. And Robin Williams is one of my absolute heroes. Robin Williams did such a fantastic job in this movie that I kind of look at it this way. If Christopher Reeve's Superman made you believe that a man could fly, then Robin Williams' Popeye made you believe in Popeye the Sailor Man. Because that is sort of the level of expectation. If you don't at least get Popeye to where he looks somewhat like that, if you cannot make him into a character that resembles the iconic Robin Williams live action version of the character, then you've already failed. You have already failed, and that's that. Now, this movie seems like it's going to be a little weird. This movie just seems a bit crazy. It's like they took Popeye and put him into this movie. Now, of course, the studio is the same studio behind the Poonaverse, but this won't be a part of it. And that's interesting. Are they going to build a whole new universe around this character, taking perhaps some of the cartoons that don't fit into the childhood fairy tales and childhood storybooks? That would be interesting to see them do. Now, it's not the only movie coming out, because apparently there is also another horror movie dealing with Popeye called Shiver Me Timbers. Now, I've seen the trailer for this one on YouTube. It is available. You can watch the trailer for Shiver Me Timbers on YouTube. But it doesn't seem like it's a real movie almost. But it does have an IMDb page, and it does promise it's coming out in early 2025. And this is a completely different version of Popeye from the other one, although it is still a horror movie. The premise of this one is in 1986, Northern California, Olive Oyl, her brother Castor, and her friends go on a camping trip to see a meteor shower with Halley's Comet. But the night turns into horror as the meteor transforms Popeye into an unstoppable killing machine. And this one has the writer Paul Stephen Mann behind it, with Paul Stephen Mann also directing. This one stars Tony Greer, Paul Dudeni, and Stephen Carell. Now, that one also promises to come out in early 2025. But let's go back to the ITN one for a second, because the ITN one may not have a lot of information known about it yet. They're kind of keeping things under wraps. We don't even know if this movie will get a theatrical release. They have, however, promised that it will receive a trailer really soon. And we do know just a little bit about the movie. And we know who's playing Popeye. According to this, Stephen Murphy will play the spinach-eating sailor. And we don't know much else about who else is in this movie. A few names pop up. They are associated with the Poonaverse, so you can tell that they are getting some of the same actors to come in and do some of this stuff, and that's kind of a good thing. Stick with the actors who you trust and who you love to make your projects come to life. But this movie doesn't seem like it's going to be amazing. Essentially, this looks like it turned Popeye the Sailor Man into Jason Voorhees. And I don't know if I see a way that this works. I don't know that I see a way that this makes sense. However, if they can do this and they can make this make sense, then I'm down for it. This could be a crazy movie. It definitely looks more realistic than the first Winnie the Pooh movie, and even, I will say, even looks more realistic than the second Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie. But is it good enough to put this story on the must-see list? Is it good enough that you're going to want to watch this movie? I don't know, because the premise here sounds strange, but it doesn't sound any more strange than the Shiver Me Timbers movie, which is also apparently coming out around the same time. They've already got the movies ready. They just can't put them out until he's in public domain. So we can expect this to come out immediately after he's in public domain. It's going to be another case of Mickey Mouse. Winnie the Pooh just wasn't the popular choice to have several movies made after him, but they did have the one where Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh supposedly are facing off against each other as some sort of strange mutated criminals or something. And I still haven't heard much about that movie going forward. I'm still trying to find that movie and trying to determine where we can find it at all, if it ever did come out. But with this one, it's going to be a repeat of the Mickey Mouse, it looks like, of the Mickey Mouse public domain situation. When Steamboat Willie went into public domain, everyone immediately jumped on the bandwagon and started creating Steamboat Willie slasher films. And we haven't even seen the end of that craze yet. But this looks like it's going to start up another one almost right away with these two movies that are kind of oddly similar in a way, coming out to try to gain a profit off the newly public domain character. And this is a craze that I don't see dying out anytime soon. This is the new craze in Hollywood horror. And that's funny because even though this is the new craze in Hollywood horror, it is something that I think could work if it's done right. This is not the worst idea I've seen Hollywood come up with, but at the same time, it does have to give you something interesting to watch. And a lot of people didn't like the Mickey Mouse movies. A lot of people didn't like the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movies. But there is a market out there for those. And this one I feel like is going to reach those same audiences. I personally will watch it and see what I think. But as of right now, I'm kind of torn because on one level, making him into a horror movie icon is kind of something that intrigues me. Just the way the Pinocchio, the Sleeping Beauty, the Peter Pan, and all of the other things that they're doing in the Poohniverse, all of that sort of intrigues me and I want to see where it goes. But this, turning him into this horror movie slasher, is something that I never anticipated. It's something I don't know how they do it. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys think about this. Are you excited about the possibility of a horror movie starring none other than Popeye the Sailor Man? Or do you think that this craze needs to stop? As always, we want to know what you guys think. Make sure you're leaving us that comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this conversation. Make sure you hit that like button. It's free. It helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. Then, friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.